We all have guilty pleasures, right? I mean, the difference between people is some people are just too afraid to admit what they are. There's some embarrassing things that we all do that give us some joy on the inside, but we don't want anybody to find out. But it's not like anybody's really going to see this anyway, so what are a few of mine, you ask? How about crop dusting a family member in the aisle of a crowded grocery store? How about shaking it off as you're listening to the song by Taylor Swift called Shake It Off? Making ugly faces at random babies? Stealing a few French fries from my kids before I take them out of the bag and hand it to them? That fiery feeling you get on the inside after eating some delicious chorizo? I mean, come on. There's some things out there that we really enjoy. We just don't really want to admit to a lot of people, but it's really hard to put them in order from best to worst. But what we can do that with is the top 25 wide receivers for 2020 fantasy football. What is going on, Headliner Nation? Jake, Fantasy Headliners. Hopefully everybody's doing well out there today, where we're talking about rankings once again, right? We just broke down our top 25 running backs 2 days ago. And I set a goal in that video of 1,000 likes. And I said if I got 1,000 likes, we'd give away 2 draft guides. That was literally a couple days ago. That happened on Tuesday. At the time of this recording, which is Wednesday evening, we're at 972 likes already. Y'all are knocking it out of the park, so be on the lookout, because more than likely the next video I post is going to have the 2 random winners of those draft guides. But I want to be equal here, right? I'm not trying to take anything away from the wide receiver, so if you can do it again, I'll give away another 2 draft guides, but we got to hit that 1,000 likes. We greatly appreciate that support, and we're not going to take a whole lot of time. We're going to dive right into the rankings and find out who our top 25 wide receivers are here for 2020. All right, so similar to our running backs, we're going to do the same thing for wide receivers. We're going to start at the top because I think a lot of people already know who the best wide receivers are, so we're really not building any anticipation, right? Let's just get them out of the way at the beginning and then really start to get into the meat and taters a little bit further down the list. So let me bring up 1 through 5 here. It's not a huge surprise, right? Number 1, going to be Michael Thomas. I mean, they're in a division that is going to throw the ball 3 times short of a buttload every given week. You got the Falcons, you got the Saints, you got Tampa Bay now with Tom Brady, paired up with Godwin and Evans. There's going to be weapons all over the place, and I have a feeling that in this division especially, they're going to be airing it out early and often. Love Michael Thomas once again. He's going to be a target hog in that offense. Got him at number 1. Number 2, Devante Adams of the Green Bay Packers, and I kind of wanted to drop him down a spot or 2, but the reason I don't is they didn't add anybody here this offseason for Aaron Rodgers to really throw to. Are we really concerned that Devin Funchess is going to be that guy in Green Bay? I don't think so. It's still going to be the Devante Adams show. He's going to go out there. He has that upside for double-digit touchdowns, and look what he did when he came back from injury last year. He absolutely dominated second half of the season in that offense. If he can stay healthy, I could see it again here once again in 2020. Number 3 is going to be Julio Jones, Atlanta Falcons, and kind of similar to what I just said with Michael Thomas, right? This division is going to throw the ball a lot, and with Julio Jones, you kind of know what you're going to get, right? The biggest question mark with Julio is how many touchdowns does he score? Because we know he's going to rack up the receptions. We know he's going to rack up the yardage. It's always a question mark of the touchdowns, and typically he's going to be right in that 5 to 7 range or so. However, with this offense, in this division, do not be surprised if we don't see more touchdowns coming the way of Julio Jones in 2020. If he can push the envelope just a little bit and get more like that 8 to 9, maybe even 10 touchdowns, dare I say 10 touchdowns for Julio Jones, he could be in for a wide receiver 1 type of year. Just because he's getting older doesn't mean he's getting worse. Still love Julio Jones. Got him at number 3. Number 4, Tyreek Hill, Kansas City Chiefs. One of these guys who kind of the opposite of the first 3 guys we mentioned, right? Because those first 3 guys are all about volume. They're going to see huge volume. Tyreek Hill isn't that type of wide receiver. He doesn't need 10, 12, 15 targets a game to go out there and put up big numbers. If this guy can get 7 to 8 targets on a weekly basis, We already know that game-breaking speed can put up big numbers in a hurry. Tyreek Hill may not be, the most ideal wide receiver to take early in your drafts. However, he doesn't rely on that volume to the point to where he can win you your weekly fantasy matchup on 1 or 2 plays. Not everybody can do that. Tyreek Hill possesses that ability. I got him right here at number 4, the same as the consensus. Number 5, that's where things get a little bit trickier, right? I have Kenny Gallaudet at number 5, 2 spots higher than the consensus. They have him at number 7. And we kind of saw it at the beginning of the last year, right? When Matthew Stafford is healthy, the guy in this offense that they're going to look to is Kenny Gallaudet, right? I mean, this is the guy in Detroit to go out there and really solidify himself as a true legit wide receiver 1 in fantasy football. The touchdown upside is there. The big play potential is there. Not one of those guys who's going to go out and get 115 catches, but kind of similar to Tyreek Hill with that big play ability and that touchdown upside. He doesn't need that huge volume to be a solid fantasy asset. I love Kenny Gallaudet this year. Got him as my wide receiver 5. All right, moving on to number 6 now. Chris Godwin, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I've already talked about this division multiple times, right? I love this for the wide receivers in this division. The offense that we could see on a weekly basis out of these 4 teams could be huge for fantasy football purposes. Now, a lot of us, myself included, have Chris Godwin penciled in as the lead target share guy in Tampa Bay. Sure, you have Gronk, you have O.J. Howard, you have Mike Evans, and yes, their touchdown upsides may be a little bit higher, but as far as sheer volume goes, that's going to be Chris Godwin as of right now. Love where he's at. Got him at number 6 overall, right there with the consensus. Number 7, no, I still feel okay. I don't have a fever. I'm feeling good. It's still Juju Smith-Schuster, which is 3 spots higher than the consensus, and I get it. A lot of people right now probably don't like that I have Juju at 7, but don't forget, it's only July. We have time to make adjustments and move people around, and right now, looking like Big Ben could be good to go for week 1, you have to love Juju Smith-Schuster in that offense. Yes, I like Deontay Johnson. They have James Washington. They've brought in Eric Ebron. However, Juju is still the man in Pittsburgh. Don't forget that. And as long as Big Ben is healthy, I still love me some Juju. Number 8 is about as far as I could drop Deandre Hopkins here. Now, it's hard because I'm an Arizona Cardinals fan. I was born and raised in Arizona, but I'm leaving my bias aside. I think it's a great move for DeAndre Hopkins to be in Arizona. He makes them a better football team. But for fantasy football purposes, I don't like it as much as I liked him in Houston. The volume just may not be there, right? They still have Christian Kirk, Andy Isabella, the legend himself, Larry Fitzgerald, Kenyon Drake in the backfield. We know about Chase Edmonds. They have options. In Houston, he was literally like the guy every single week, and you knew he was going to go out there and get you 10-plus targets. You can't always say that this year for DeAndre Hopkins with him in Arizona. There's just too many other pieces in that offense to where he may not see that volume. There's other options in the red zone, and DeAndre Hopkins, as skilled as he is, he still needs that volume. He may be more efficient this year, and I'm not going to say he's going to have a horrible year. His reception total may just drop him down a little bit, which is going to drop him down in my rankings. Got him right here at number 8, which is 3 spots lower than the consensus. Number 9, you've probably heard me say it a few times here this offseason. The cup is going to runneth over in LA. I love Cooper Kupp this year, and I get it. He started off super hot. Got a little bit cold there middle of 2019, then ended fairly strong at the end of last season. But remember, that was his first year coming off of an ACL tear. He's now 100% fully healed. There's no more Brandon Cooks, and he is the favorite target of one Jared Goff once they get in the red zone. A lot of people don't expect that. Now, a lot of people want to point to the fact that Tyler Higby, his insurgence the end of 2019 is really going to hurt Cooper Kupp. It's really not. If anything, it gives the defense something else to think about, only leaving Cooper Kupp with more one-on-one opportunities. I still love Cooper Kupp, and the ceiling is out of this world. I got him inside my top 10 right here at number 9, which is 6 spots higher than the consensus. Number 10, got Mike Evans. I really couldn't put him outside of the top 10. And reason being is it's just this division, right? I can't keep talking about this division enough with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady, Drew Brees and the Saints. You got Teddy Bridgewater, not so much Teddy Bridgewater in the Panthers, but maybe a little bit. And you also got Matt Ryan there in the Falcons. So many weapons in the passing game. That's 6 games a year. They're going to be throwing the ball a lot. And I love that for this offense. Mike Evans, he's never really been one of those guys to have a huge reception total, so I'm not really too worried about that. However, the big play potential is going to be there, and they'll be looking for him in the red zone. Got Mike Evans right here, number 10. All right, let's pull up the next set here, 11 through 15. Who do we got? Number 11, it's going to be Allen Robinson, Chicago Bears. And a lot of people, myself included, kind of don't really know what to do with Allen Robinson as of yet. Who's going to win that quarterback controversy in Chicago between Trubisky and Foles? Now, last year with Trubisky, we saw Allen Robinson get huge volume, one of the league leaders in targets, and we could very easily see that again. You also saw the end of 2019, Anthony Miller start to take a step forward in his game. If that happens, that speaks volumes and great things for Allen Robinson. It's going to give him the opportunity not to just be the sole focus of the opposing defenses. We've seen this guy put up some amazing numbers with some absolutely horrible quarterbacks in his career. If this guy could just get a solid quarterback around him, can you imagine the numbers we could see from Allen Robinson? I still like him. The volume should still be there. He's still the guy in Chicago. Right now, though, got him at number 11. Number 12 is going to be DJ Moore here, Carolina Panthers, 2 spots higher than the consensus. And once again, this division is going to have to throw. The defense is not that great in Carolina. And if I had to guess, they're going to be playing from behind quite a bit. What does that mean? More throwing of the football. One of the biggest criticisms of Teddy Bridgewater, throwing the ball deep down the field. So that's going to be great for the DJ Moores and the Christian McCaffreys of the world. They're going to eat up those underneath routes. And we've already seen that DJ Moore can make big plays happen once the ball gets in his hands. I like DJ Moore, got him at number 12. Number 13 is where the haters speak up because it's Odell Beckham Jr. of the Cleveland Browns. Now, I get it. He's burned a lot of people here in the past. Injuries, part of the concern. Yeah, a lot of people want to go back to his antics in New York. However, what we saw last year out of Odell Beckham was a more mature Odell Beckham. He wasn't out there being a diva on the field every single week, even though things weren't going that great for him. It was one of his worst seasons, still managed 1,000 yards, and there's a chance that Jarvis Landry may not be 100% ready to go to start the season. That could increase the volume going towards Odell Beckham, who had offseason surgery, and he should be 100% good to go. In a new style offense not run by Freddie Kitchens, I don't hate Odell Beckham this year. Yes, I have him outside of the top 12 because there is some associated risk, but at 13, I'll take it all day long for Odell Beckham. Number 14 is going to be Adam Thielen, Minnesota Vikings, and I have him 1 spot lower than the consensus, but it's a pretty fair spot to have him at. The volume should be there, right? No more Stephon Diggs. They drafted Justin Jefferson, who will probably consume the majority of those targets, but you have to think that Adam Thielen, in this offense in which he's already excelled in the past, that if he can stay healthy, should absolutely rack up the targets with Kirk Cousins. The volume could be out of this world for Adam Thielen, and that could be a big benefit to you guys, especially everybody playing PPR style of formats. I don't hate Adam Thielen. Don't forget about him because of the injuries last season. I got him right now, wide receiver 14. Number 15 is going to be Robert Woods of the Rams, and if you're feeling sophisticated, you can call him Bobby Trees if you want to, but he's just another one of these guys who I really like for 2020 fantasy football. He has a very safe floor. On a weekly basis, it's not out of the question that Robert Woods can't go out there and get 10 plus targets. We know he can make the big plays happen, and he's going to have the volume. Not much of a huge red zone guy, and we already talked about Kupp and Higby. However, Woods as a wide receiver 3 possibly for your roster is not a bad move whatsoever. I like myself some Bobby Trees here in 2020. Now let's move on to 16 through 20. Number 16, Calvin Ridley. Do I really need to bring up this division once again and how much I love it? Now, we saw, glimpses of Calvin Ridley in the past, and with Julio Jones opposite of him and Todd Gurley now in the backfield, they've brought in Hayden Hurst, which in my opinion isn't much of a downgrade from what Austin Hooper did last year. There's no way they can start double teaming all these things or loading the boxes to take away Todd Gurley. Right now, Calvin Ridley, I got him at number 16, which is only 2 spots higher than the consensus, and that may seem a little bit high, but it's not out of the question for this guy to go out there and get 80 to 90 receptions, right around 1,100 to 1,200 yards this year, and here's the kicker. He has double-digit touchdown upside. I love the potential of Calvin Ridley. Now, I would not draft Julio and Ridley together, so if you grab Julio early, for whatever reason in your draft, just scratch off Calvin Ridley. You don't want two guys from the same team that early in your draft, especially at the same position. But the potential upside, maybe if you do miss out on Julio early, you go heavy running back and you're looking for somebody with some huge upside, Calvin Ridley could be your guy. Number 17, though, is where maybe I start to go off the rails a little bit. I got Terry McLaurin right here at 17, which is 6 spots higher than the consensus currently has him. Now, honestly, I kind of want to put him a little bit higher. However, with everything surrounding Washington as of right now, I'm going to be just a little bit hesitant to go any earlier than 17th here for Terry McLaurin. The talent is there. The chemistry is there with Dwayne Haskins. I've talked about Dwayne Haskins in other videos here this offseason. I really think he's primed to have a huge breakout, and I love the addition of Ron Rivera. Right now, Terry McLaurin, number 17, but I'd like to have him a few spots higher here. Just got to be a little bit patient. Let's find out what happens in Washington here after all that drama here over the last few weeks before we make any more changes. 18 is going to be DK Metcalf, and yes, I have DK Metcalf higher than Tyler Lockett this year. A lot of people after the NFL draft last year just was like, nah, DK Metcalf, he's not that guy. He's just too big. He's too bulky. He's too slow. He ran a slow 3-cone drill at the comp. Whatever it was wrong. DK Metcalf is a man amongst boys out there on the field, and we know that they're going to have to throw the ball in Seattle some, right? They're always one of the league leaders in rushing attempts, but with Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf there, DK gives them that opportunity to go deep down the field. We saw it last year, the huge touchdown upside. What's happening at the tight end position? Is Will Dissly healthy? Is Greg Olsen, does he have anything left in the tank? If they don't, look for more red zone targets going the way of DK Metcalf. Absolutely love it. I got him 6 spots higher than the consensus here this year. Right now, my wide receiver 18. So if I'm putting Terry and DK a little bit higher, that means somebody has to drop down. For me, it's A.J. Brown, and he's not that far dropped down 3 spots. Consensus has him at 16. Right now, I have him at 19. Reason being, I think he's a little bit more dependent on the big play. Now, he's proven that he can make the big play 100%, but he's not going to catch any defenses sleeping this year. Now they're going to be expecting it. They have a year's worth of tape to watch on him. I think he still has a solid year, but maybe we see a slight decrease in those big plays, and if that's the case, he's going to be reliant on more volume, and we know that Tennessee loves to run the ball a lot, like A.J. Brown. Just tempering expectations a little bit. Got him right now, number 19. Well, number 20, and I'm sure as soon as I went to this slide, everybody saw 20 and had been waiting for it. Now, if you've watched this channel for any amount of time, you know I am not a huge fan of Amari Cooper. However, I always say everybody has value, right, at some point. And in my opinion, with all the risk associated with Amari Cooper, I got him at number 20 overall. I just, I hate to see those inconsistencies. I'm not writing off the fact that CeeDee Lamb can't be a factor this year. Michael Gallup has already proven that he can go out there on a weekly basis and out-target Amari. We know Zeke is in the backfield. I just don't know if there's enough consistency with Amari Cooper for me to want to draft him as early as you have to as of right now based off of his current ADP to be your wide receiver 2. If Amari Cooper is my wide receiver 3, no worries. I really don't care. But if I have to start him on a weekly basis, I'm worried about it, right? I mean, I already have, thinning hair and gray hair. I don't need more of that stress in my life. So I got Amari Cooper dropped down 8 spots lower than the consensus, which, yes, I know. But here's the thing. If I'm going to sit here and make a video and take my time to do research on a certain guy, telling you not to draft him, it does me no good to put him higher in the rankings. If I'm going to walk the walk, I got to talk the talk. So Amari Cooper is down at number 20. All right, last slide here. Let's go down to 21 through 25. Who do we got? 21 is going to be T.Y. Hilton. Has everybody forgotten about T.Y. Hilton? I'm starting to wonder because T.Y. Hilton is currently 26th in the consensus. I have him 21, 5 spots higher. But let's not forget, T.Y. Hilton is kind of going to assume the Keenan Allen role with Phillip Rivers there in Indianapolis. We know they're going to run the ball a lot. This is a great offensive line to protect Phillip Rivers. The volume could be there for T.Y. Hilton this year, and where his ADP is at is a great value. He could actually be a league winner for a lot of people just because you're getting him so cheap on draft day. Don't forget about T.Y. Hilton. I got him right now 21. 22 is the guy we just mentioned, right? Keenan Allen, Los Angeles Chargers. I have him 1 spot lower than the consensus, but I don't dislike him whatsoever. He's still going to be heavily involved in that offense. The biggest question mark, Tyrod or Justin Herbert. If I had to guess, as of right now, Tyrod starts the season, but I don't hate that regardless. You have the big play threat, the touchdown upside of a Mike Williams, but as far as volume goes, it's going to still be going towards Keenan Allen. Right now, I've got him at number 22. 23 is Tyler Lockett, Seattle Seahawks. So we have both DK and Lockett inside the top 25. And no, I haven't lost my mind. Tyler Lockett is still somebody who could eat up targets underneath. One thing that Seattle's always done is run the football, right? But you have Chris Carson coming off of a hip injury. You have Carlos Hyde coming in there who's not familiar with the offense, brand new to the team in a crazy offseason. You have newly drafted rookie DJ Dallas in a crazy offseason once again. Travis Homer. I mean, what happens if this running game kind of sputters a little bit? They're going to have to do something, right? They'll find themselves, in second, third, fourth place in this division in a hurry if they just sit around waiting for the run game to pick up. They're going to have to throw the ball, and Tyler Lockett, even though at times last year he disappeared, is still a big part of this offense. I think that he has that potential to still finish as a low-end wide receiver too. Got him right here, 23. 24 is going to be DJ Chark, 2 spots lower than the consensus. Kind of similar to last year. I think we could see a lot of the same for DJ Chark this year. I caught a lot of flack last year on this channel because I came out and said that DJ Chark was touchdown dependent. He is touchdown dependent. The volume just isn't consistent enough for him to be safe on a weekly basis. However, with Minshew under center, this is definitely a guy that has that weekly touchdown upside. Talent level, skill level, you can go back on this channel to the combine, 3 years ago when I posted a video and I came out of the combine saying DJ Chark may be the most talented wide receiver in this class. I've been on this bandwagon for a long time, not taking anything away from the kid. Not the greatest of situations, and the reason why I still even have him this high is I think Jacksonville's trailing in a lot of games, and they're going to have to throw all 4 quarters for 16 weeks. So right now, I've got DJ Chark right here, 24. 25 is probably my biggest difference between the consensus and where I have somebody ranked. It's Brandon Cooks. Now, consensus right now has him as wide receiver 36. I have him at 25, 11 spots different, but there's a reason for that, right? Now, a lot of people want to come out and say, oh, Brandon Cooks, he's 1 concussion away from being done for the year, maybe for his career. True statement. Not saying that's wrong by any means, but can you not say that about every single player in the NFL? On any play, anybody can get hurt and can be out for the year. Here's the thing, though, and here's why I have him so high. Don't forget about him, because he's always produced wherever he's been when healthy. New Orleans, New England, LA, and now Houston, where he goes where there's no DeAndre Hopkins, so we know there's a ton of targets available for him, at his disposal. Plus, he's paired with the likes of Will Fuller, Randall Cobb, other guys who aren't really known for staying healthy. If anybody goes down, the volume is going to be out of this world for Brandon Cooks, and you don't have to draft him super early. Where he's going in fantasy football drafts, more than likely, he's your wide receiver 3, maybe your wide receiver 4 even. And if that's the case, it would not surprise me to see him go out there and get 1,000 yards and about 7 touchdowns this year, which makes him a wide receiver 2 that you got as a steal on draft day. Put him at 25, just so you don't forget about Brandon Cooks. All right, so there's my top 25 wide receivers for 2020 fantasy football. Now, I get it. A lot of people are very passionate about rankings. One guy in a spot they don't like, they get all butthurt and pissed off. Remember, it's still early. We have plenty of times to make some tweaks, make some adjustments here or there to really put these guys in the right spot right before your fantasy football draft. So maybe you see something different. That's cool. If we had identical rankings between me and you, the viewer, what would be the purpose in watching the videos if everything always matched? The differing perspectives is what really helps us make those decisions come during your fantasy football draft. So we want to know what you guys think down below. Maybe you see somebody different. Maybe you're going to say, oh, well, where's this guy? I'll gladly tell you where he's at, but don't forget, it's the top 25. I can't fit in 50 players, and a lot of people are expecting more guys to be in here. If you think somebody should be in, tell me who should be out. And I mean, give me an argument, make the reasoning behind it. You can't just say, I don't like that guy. There's no way I do that. Okay, who do you put in and why? I mean, let's have a conversation. We're out here trying to make the best possible decisions for 2020 fantasy football so we can win more championships. That's what it's all about. But we greatly appreciate the support. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your week. We'll talk to you later.